Distractions are everywhere. They come in the form of constant notifications, endless scrolling, unfinished tasks, and the quiet pull of procrastination. They steal our energy, our focus, and most importantly, our time. In a world designed to keep us distracted, taking back control of your attention is no longer optional. It's a necessity. This audiobook is about reclaiming your life from the grip of distractions. Each chapter will guide you through principles and practices and help you build clarity, focus, and discipline. Imagine living each day with full control over your actions, your mind clear, your time well spent, and your energy invested in what truly matters. That is the life we are building together. Let's begin. Distractions are not just small inconveniences. They are silent thieves of our most valuable resource: time. Every moment we lose to a buzzing notification, an unnecessary thought, or a meaningless activity is a piece of life we never get back. What makes distractions dangerous is that they rarely feel dangerous. They arrive disguised as harmless detours, checking a message, opening social media for just a minute, or allowing our minds to wander when the task at hand feels uncomfortable. Yet, when we step back and look at the cumulative effect, we begin to see that distractions cost us more than minutes. They cost us focus, clarity, progress, and in the long run, the life we want to create. Think of a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. With every strike, the shape becomes clearer. Now imagine that sculptor being interrupted every few minutes, forced to drop the chisel and pick it up again. The rhythm breaks, the flow is lost, and the masterpiece takes far longer to emerge, if it emerges at all. This is what distractions do to our lives. They break the rhythm of progress and prevent us from shaping the life we envision. Each interruption forces us to start again, wasting energy and leaving us frustrated. The hidden cost of distractions goes beyond lost time. They rob us of deep thought. Our best ideas don't come when our attention is fragmented into dozens of pieces. They come when our minds are quiet, steady, and fully immersed in the work before us. Great discoveries, works of art, and innovations were not born from people juggling multiple distractions. They came from those who protected their attention and devoted them themselves fully to the task in front of them. When we allow distractions to rule, we trade our potential for momentary comfort. And the tragedy is that we often don't notice the exchange until much later. Distractions also weaken discipline. Every time we give in to one, we reinforce the habit of escape instead of staying present with difficulty or boredom. We condition ourselves to run away towards something easier, even if it adds no value. Over time, this erodes our ability to endure, to push through, and to master our own minds. The more often we escape into distraction, the weaker our inner muscles of discipline become. On the other hand, every time we resist a distraction, we strengthen those muscles. We send ourselves a powerful message. I am in control. Not my phone, not the endless stream of entertainment, not the fleeting thought in my mind, but me. The financial world speaks often about compound interest, the way small, consistent investments grow into massive results over time. The same principle applies to focus. Every moment of attention invested in meaningful work compounds. Progress builds upon progress, and before long, what once seemed impossible becomes a reality. But distractions are the opposite of compound interest. They are compound losses. A few wasted minutes today, a few more tomorrow, and soon entire weeks, months, or years slip through our fingers. What we lose to distraction is not just time, it is opportunity. Opportunity to grow, to create, to build, to love, to live fully. The good news is that awareness is the first step to change. When we begin to see distractions for what they are, thieves of time and energy, we naturally start to guard our attention with greater care. We notice how often we reach for our phones without reason, how quickly we abandon difficult tasks, how easily we let others pull us away from what matters. With awareness comes choice, and choice is power. We cannot control every distraction that appears, but we can control whether we allow it to steal from us. In the end, eliminating distractions is not about rigidly shutting out the world. It is about reclaiming our right to live intentionally. It is about recognizing that our time on this earth is limited and each moment deserves to be used with care. When we understand the true cost of distraction, we stop treating it as harmless. We begin to see it as the barrier between us and the life we know we could live. And that awareness alone can be the spark that drives us to take back control. Focus is like sunlight, scattered across a wide surface. It warms but does not transform. Concentrated through a lens, however, that same light can ignite a fire. The same principle holds true for the human mind. When your attention is fragmented across a dozen distractions, your energy disperses. You move, but you do not advance. Yet, when you learn to hold your focus on a single task, a single thought, or a single purpose, you unlock a force that can change everything. Think about the times in your life when you became completely absorbed in something meaningful. Perhaps it was a project that demanded your creativity, a conversation where you lost track of time, or a moment of silence when your mind was fully present. Those moments carried a certain magic. Hours passed in what felt like minutes. Progress flowed with ease. That was the power of focused attention, the very opposite of distraction. It wasn't just productivity, it was presence. Distractions don't merely delay you, they rob you of the depth of your experience. A person who spends hours switching between tasks may feel busy, but rarely feels fulfilled. Their energy is consumed by constant starting and stopping, by shallow engagement rather than deep creation. Focus, on the other hand, allows you to sink beneath the surface, to reach the richness of thought, to create work that carries weight and meaning. One of the greatest challenges of our time is learning how to protect that focus. The world around you is built to compete for your attention. Entire industries are designed to keep your eyes on screens, your mind on notifications, and your energy on consumption rather than creation. That is why attention has been called the new currency. Every time you allow yourself to be distracted, you are spending that currency. The question is, are you investing it in what truly matters, or are you giving it away to anything that calls your name? Practical mastery begins with awareness. Try this the next time you sit down to work. Notice how quickly your mind looks for an escape. Notice how tempting it is to check your phone, to click on another tab, to drift into idle scrolling. That impulse is the voice of distraction. By catching it in the moment, you regain the power to choose differently. Discipline begins not with grand gestures, but with small decisions repeated consistently. Each time you resist the pull of distraction, your focus strengthens. It helps to set clear boundaries with yourself. If you intend to work on something for an hour, make it sacred. Eliminate what competes for your attention. Close the doors, silence the alerts, and place your tools in order. When you create conditions for focus, your mind naturally settles into clarity. Some call this state flow. Others call it deep work. Whatever the name, it is the experience of being wholly immersed. It is in that immersion that breakthroughs happen. There is a story told of a sculptor who was asked how he carved such magnificent statues. He replied, "I simply remove everything that is not the figure. That is the essence of focused attention. You are the sculptor of your own time and energy. Each distraction you remove, each temptation you set aside, brings the form of your best work into view. Even in simple daily life, the rewards are profound. A focused conversation strengthens relationships more than a distracted one. A focused workout strengthens the body more than a rushed, interrupted routine. A focused moment of silence strengthens the mind more than endless noise. Focus magnifies every action because it aligns all of your resources, your body, your mind, and your will, in one direction. Remember that clarity is a choice. You may not control every distraction in the world, but you can control your response to them. Each morning offers you an invitation. Will you scatter your energy across 100 little diversions, or will you gather it into one powerful flame? The choice you make, repeated day after day, will define the life you build. Focus is not just about getting things done. It is about living with intention. It is about showing up fully to the task before you, to the people around you, and to the vision you carry within. When you master your attention, you master your future. Imagine walking into a room that feels calm, uncluttered, and purposeful. The air itself seems lighter The surfaces are clear, and everything around you silently communicates focus. Now compare that with stepping into a space where papers are piled on the desk, notifications flash on every device, and random objects are scattered across the floor. The first environment invites concentration, while the second demands your attention in 100 directions. One supports clarity, the other breeds distraction. This is the power of environment. Whether we realize it or not, the spaces we inhabit shape the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we behave. Most people underestimate how profoundly their surroundings influence their focus. They believe that discipline alone will protect them from distraction. Yet even the strongest willpower is no match for an environment designed to scatter attention. If your phone vibrates every few minutes, if the television hums in the background, if your workspace is messy and chaotic, then your brain is being trained to fragment itself. On the other hand, when you intentionally design an environment that serves you, discipline becomes easier. Focus stops feeling like a battle and starts becoming your natural state. Think about a craftsman working in a workshop. Every tool has its place. The workbench is clear. The craftsman knows that when they enter the space, their mind shifts into creation mode. Your life deserves that same kind of intentional design. Begin by looking at the physical environment where you spend the most time. Is your desk supporting your focus? Or is it filled with clutter that constantly whispers for your attention? A clean surface, a comfortable chair, and good lighting may seem simple, but they are powerful allies in helping your mind stay present. Then, look at the invisible environment, the digital world that surrounds you. The phone on your desk is more powerful than any television ever was, because it follows you everywhere. If every app is allowed to scream for your attention, then focus will always be out of reach. Disable non-essential notifications. Move tempting icons off your home screen. Create a digital space that makes you want to do the right thing, not the easy thing. You will be amazed at how much lighter your mind feels when it is not constantly interrupted. There is also the social environment. Who you spend time with shapes the habits you build. If the people around you constantly waste time, complain, and give in to distraction, then their behavior becomes the background noise of your own life. But if you surround yourself with people who value discipline, who work with intention, who respect their time, then you will naturally rise to meet that standard. Energy is contagious, and your environment is not just the space you sit in, but also the people you allow into it. A powerful principle to remember is this: make the desired action the easiest action. If you want to read more, place books within reach of your bed. If you want to exercise, set out your shoes the night before. If you want to work without interruption, keep your workspace free of distracting devices. by designing an environment where the right choice is the simplest choice. You reduce friction and increase the likelihood of following through. It is worth remembering that environment can work for you or against you. If your surroundings are messy, chaotic, and filled with distraction, then your mind will mirror that state. But if your surroundings are intentional, calm, and ordered, then your mind begins to reflect that calm as well. The external shapes the internal, and the internal shapes the results you create. Every time you walk into a space, ask yourself, does this environment pull me away from who I want to be, or does it bring me closer? When you deliberately design spaces that serve your highest goals, focus no longer feels like a struggle. It becomes the natural flow of your life. And when focus becomes natural, control over your time and your destiny returns to you. Multitasking has become a badge of honor in our modern culture. People boast about juggling emails while attending meetings, scrolling through messages while eating, or switching between countless tasks in the hope of getting more done. At first glance, it feels productive. After all, you are busy, you are active, and your hands and mind seem constantly at work. But beneath the surface, something crucial is happening. Your focus is being fractured, and the quality of your work is silently slipping away. What looks like productivity is often nothing more than distraction disguised as efficiency. The human brain is not designed to perform multiple complex tasks at once. When we try to write an important report while replying to messages, or listen attentively while drafting emails, our attention does not split evenly. It jumps rapidly from one task to another. Each time your attention shifts, there is a cost, a mental toll often called the switching cost. This cost is invisible in the moment, but significant in the long run. It takes time for the mind to reorient, to recall where you left off, and to re-establish concentration. The seconds may feel small, but when multiplied across hours and days, they become enormous. Think about driving. When you glance at your phone for just a few seconds, your car continues moving forward, but your awareness vanishes. That momentary distraction is enough to cause accidents. Life operates in much the same way. Every time you divert your focus, you are moving forward without full awareness, and you miss opportunities, insights, and depth. Multitasking robs you of the richness of the present moment, leaving you scattered and drained. Consider this simple experiment. Sit down with a pen and write the alphabet from A to Z. Then, immediately afterward, write the numbers from 1 to 26. You will notice it flows quickly, smoothly, and requires little effort. Now try alternating A1, B2, C3, and so on. The task becomes awkward, the rhythm is broken, and it takes far longer. Nothing changed in the letters or numbers. The only change was the demand to split your attention. That is the hidden cost of multitasking in action. Great achievements are rarely the result of scattered attention. They come from deep, undivided focus. A sculptor does not create a masterpiece by chiseling one stone, then running to another half-finished sculpture, then returning hours later. They dedicate themselves fully to the piece before them. A musician perfects their craft, not by jumping between instruments every 5 minutes, but by immersing in one practice until it flows naturally. Excellence requires focus, and focus requires eliminating the illusion of multitasking. There is a reason so many people feel exhausted at the end of the day, even when they cannot point to what they accomplished. Their energy has been drained not by the weight of tasks, but by the fragmentation of their attention. Imagine pouring water into 10 different cups at once. Each cup receives only a trickle, never enough to fill. But when you choose one cup and pour steadily, it fills, and progress is visible. Your energy works in the same way. It is tempting to believe that switching quickly between tasks makes you adaptable. Yet, true adaptability is not about scattering yourself thin. It is about mastering presence and then redirecting it with clarity. When you focus entirely on one thing, you bring the full strength of your mind to it. And when you finish, you shift fully to the next. This is not rigid discipline, but a way of working with the natural rhythm of your brain instead of against it. The way forward is simple yet powerful. Give your attention wholly to what is in front of you. Turn off unnecessary notifications when doing deep work. Close the tabs when do not serve your current task. Set time blocks where only one priority exists. And honor that commitment as though it were a promise to yourself. The more you practice single tasking, the more energy you preserve, the more progress you see, and the more satisfied you feel at the end of each day. Multitasking is not a sign of strength, it is a sign of distraction. Focus, presence, and deep engagement are the true markers of control. When you learn to resist the pull of scattered attention, you begin to reclaim not just your productivity, but your peace of mind. The mind that is fully here, fully present, and fully engaged is the mind that creates, learns, and ultimately lives with clarity. Clarity is like sunlight cutting through fog. Without it, we move through life in a haze, drifting from one distraction to the next, never fully grasping where we are headed or why. When your mind is crowded with noise, it becomes almost impossible to focus. You might sit at your desk intending to work, but a flood of thoughts and impulses push you in every direction. Suddenly you remember an email you forgot to send. Then a message on your phone pulls your attention, and before you know it, an hour has passed. This is the cost of mental clutter. It steals time in small fragments until you're left wondering why the day vanished with so little done. The first step in building mental clarity is awareness. Many people move through their lives without realizing how distracted they truly are. They accept the fog as normal. But clarity begins the moment you notice the noise. You start to see the difference between what matters and what is simply trying to grab your attention. Ask yourself, what truly deserves my energy today? By defining what is essential, you make it easier to ignore what is not. Imagine your mind as a glass of water. If dirt keeps falling into it, the water becomes cloudy. But if you stop the dirt from entering and allow the water to settle, it becomes clear again. Mental clarity is simply about protecting your mind from dirt and giving it space to settle. One of the most powerful ways to clear your mind is through single tasking. Our brains are not designed to do multiple demanding things at once. Each time you switch from one task to another, you lose momentum. Your focus is like a beam of light. When scattered, it illuminates very little, but when concentrated, it becomes powerful enough to cut through steel. Choosing one task and giving it your full presence is not just productive, it's liberating. You free yourself from the constant tug of competing priorities and allow your mind to breathe. Clarity also comes from simplifying your commitments. Too many people are overwhelmed, not because they lack ability, but because they have said yes to too many things. Every yes is a promise, and every promise takes a piece of your attention. When you learn to say no to what does not serve your highest purpose, you make room for what does. Remember, clarity is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters most. Imagine a sculptor chipping away at a block of marble. With each strike, the unnecessary pieces fall away, and the true figure emerges. In the same way, mental clarity comes when you chip away at what is unnecessary until only the essential remains. Practical habits can strengthen this clarity. Begin your day by writing down your top 3 priorities. Not 10, not 20, just 3. These are the anchors that will guide you through the storm of distractions. Whenever you feel pulled away, glance at your list and remind yourself of where your energy belongs. Another simple practice is decluttering your environment. A cluttered desk often reflects a cluttered mind. By clearing your physical space, you send a signal to your brain that it is time to focus. Even small rituals, like making your bed in the morning, can set the tone for mental order. And then there is the quiet practice of stillness. In a world that constantly demands your attention, silence is rare and powerful. Taking even 5 minutes to breathe deeply, sit in stillness, or meditate can reset your mental state. It's in those quiet moments that you reconnect with yourself. As one timeless saying reminds us, the quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. In silence, your thoughts settle and your true priorities rise to the surface. Mental clarity is not about emptying your mind completely. It is about giving your thoughts structure and direction. It is about building a mental environment where focus thrives and distractions lose their power. When your mind is clear, decisions become easier. Work feels more purposeful. Life itself feels lighter. And perhaps most importantly, clarity creates confidence. When you know exactly what matters, you stop wasting energy on what doesn't, and you walk forward with certainty. To build clarity is to build strength. It is to reclaim control over your inner world, so that the outer world cannot control you. Every day, you practice these small disciplines, focusing on one task, saying no to the unnecessary, writing down your priorities, clearing your space, and finding silence. You are sharpening the lens of your mind, and through that lens, the path ahead becomes visible, steady, and full of possibility. Discipline is the anchor that keeps you steady in a world full of noise. Without discipline, even the best strategies for eliminating distractions fall apart. It is discipline that turns intention into consistent action. And it is discipline that allows you to resist the pull of instant gratification in order to serve a bigger purpose. Imagine discipline as the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, you stay stuck. With it, you move forward, step by steady step, until the destination you once thought impossible becomes your reality. Think about the times you set a goal, but abandoned it halfway. You may have been motivated in the beginning, energized by the idea of success, but eventually distractions crept in. The television, the phone, the endless lure of comfort. They pulled you away from your path. Why did this happen? It wasn't a lack of desire. It was a lack of discipline. Desire creates the spark, but discipline keeps the fire burning long after motivation fades. This is why so many dreams are left unfinished. People wait to feel motivated instead of building discipline that doesn't rely on fleeting emotions. Discipline begins with clarity. When you know what matters most, it becomes easier to say no to what doesn't. Without clarity, everything feels important, and you end up giving your energy to distractions, disguised as urgent tasks. A disciplined person has already decided in advance, these are my priorities, these are my boundaries, and everything else must wait. It is not about doing more. It is about focusing on less. The great secret of disciplined living is that you eliminate before you accumulate. You subtract the unnecessary to make room for the essential. Of course, building discipline is not glamorous. It often feels uncomfortable. Waking up early when your body begs for more sleep. Finishing a project when entertainment is one click away. Saying no when everyone else is saying yes. These moments are where discipline is forged. Each choice to stay true to your focus strengthens you. Every small act of discipline builds a stronger foundation. Over time, what once felt hard becomes automatic, almost effortless, because discipline, when practiced consistently, becomes part of your identity. There will always be temptation. There will always be reasons to delay, to indulge, or to step away from the work. But discipline reminds you that what you want most is greater than what you want right now. It whispers to you in the quiet moments when no one is watching, stay the course. Keep moving. Do not surrender to distraction. It reminds you that controlled hill is not about rigid perfection, but about choosing deliberately instead of reacting impulsively. One practical way to grow discipline is through daily commitments that are small but non-negotiable. Decide on one thing you will do every day, no matter what. It could be writing for 10 minutes, exercising for 20, or spending half an hour without your phone. These actions are not about size, but about consistency. When you keep these promises to yourself, your mind begins to trust you. You become someone who follows through, and that identity becomes powerful armor against distractions. Another essential part of discipline is accountability. Alone, it is easy to excuse yourself, but when you commit to someone else, a mentor, a partner, a community, the pressure to remain consistent grows stronger. Accountability turns private battles into shared commitments, and shared commitments fuel resilience. In the end, discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. It frees you from the chaos of distractions, from the regret of wasted time, from the frustration of unfulfilled potential. The disciplined person is not the one who never feels tempted, but the one who chooses focus in spite of it. Every time you practice discipline, you are writing a sentence in the story of your future. And over time, those sentences become chapters of accomplishment, chapters of growth, chapters of a life lived with intention. If you want to eliminate distractions, you must build discipline. It is the inner strength that allows you to walk past noise without turning your head. It is the steady hand that guides you when the world tries to pull you in every direction. And it is the voice inside you that says, stay the course, finish what you start, and do not give your attention to anything that does not serve your greater purpose. Deep work is the ability to direct your full attention toward a single, meaningful task without letting your mind wander or your environment interrupt you. It is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters most at the highest possible level. In today's world, deep work has become rare, but its value has never been greater. Those who can harness it rise above the noise, achieve mastery, and create results that leave a lasting impact. Imagine a sculptor working in silence, chiseling away at a block of marble. Every strike of the hammer is deliberate, every pause filled with vision. Hours may pass unnoticed, yet progress is made with precision. That is what deep work feels like. Complete immersion, where time dissolves and productivity multiplies. It is not just about finishing tasks, but about producing something meaningful and excellent. The first key to deep work is eliminating shallow activity. Shallow work is when you are busy, but not truly productive. Answering trivial emails, browsing through information without direction, or jumping between small tasks. These activities feel urgent, but rarely move your life forward. To access deep work, you must consciously step away from the shallow and create dedicated spaces of focus. One powerful way to begin is through time blocking. Set aside specific hours each day where your only goal is to work deeply on the most important task. During this time, put away your phone, silence notifications, and remove every possible distraction. Treat it like an appointment with yourself, one you cannot cancel. Over time, your brain learns to enter focus mode faster, almost like strengthening a muscle. It is also important to recognize that deep work requires energy. You cannot enter it when you are exhausted, mentally scattered, or overwhelmed. That is why rest, exercise, and proper sleep are not luxuries, but necessities. They recharge your ability to concentrate. A tired mind will always gravitate toward distractions, while a rested mind is capable of sustained effort. Another practice is to create a clear ritual before beginning deep work. This ritual signals to your brain that it is time to enter a different state. Some people light a candle, others listen to instrumental music, and some simply start by writing a clear intention on paper. For the next 2 hours, I will focus only on this task. The ritual itself is less important than the consistency of performing it. Over time, it becomes a powerful trigger for concentration. Of course, the modern world does not make deep work easy. Every app and platform is designed to pull your attention in multiple directions. But remember this: focus is a choice. You cannot control how loud the world is, but you can control whether you allow it into your mind. By building boundaries around your attention, you are declaring that your time is too valuable to be wasted. There will be moments of struggle. Deep work does not always feel comfortable, especially at the start. Your mind may resist, craving the quick relief of distraction. But persistence pays off. The longer you stay in the zone, the more natural it becomes. Soon, you will notice that your best ideas, your clearest thoughts, and your most meaningful accomplishments emerge from these periods of uninterrupted focus. As you strengthen your ability to work deeply, your sense of control returns. Instead of being pulled in 100 directions, you move with clarity toward a chosen goal. This is not just about professional achievement. It is about living intentionally. A life filled with deep work is a life where you are present, purposeful, and creating something of value, not merely consuming the noise of others. When you give yourself the gift of deep work, you are no longer a prisoner of distraction. You become the sculptor of your own future, shaping it with deliberate focus and unwavering discipline. And with every hour invested in this way, you take back control of your life. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Every decision you make, every thought you entertain, every action you take draws from it. Yet most people go through life as if their energy is limitless, spending it carelessly on things that don't matter, and then wondering why they feel empty and are motivated. To truly eliminate distractions and take back control, you must learn to guard your energy and guard your mind. These two are deeply connected, for the state of your energy determines the clarity of your thinking, and the quality of your thoughts determines how your energy is used. Think about the moments in your life when you felt most alive, most in control. Perhaps it was when you were pursuing a meaningful goal, exercising, creating something from nothing, or connecting deeply with someone you love. In those moments, your energy was aligned with your values, and your mind was fully engaged. Now think about the opposite, when you were drained, restless, or foggy. Chances are you had scattered your energy on meaningless distractions, or you allowed negative thoughts to dominate your mind. This contrast shows a powerful truth. Focus thrives when energy is guarded, and distraction dominates when energy is wasted. One way to begin guarding your energy is by becoming aware of the environment you place yourself in, the places you spend time, the people you allow around you, even the sounds and images that fill your day, all influence your mental state. If you surround yourself with constant noise and negativity, you will feel drained before you even begin your most important tasks. But if you choose calm environments, uplifting people, and meaningful inputs, your energy will expand rather than diminish. Remember the simple principle: what enters your mind shapes the quality of your life. Guard the entrance carefully. Guarding your energy also means learning the discipline of saying no. Every request, every invitation, every temptation is a potential leak of your energy. When you say yes to things that do not serve your purpose, you are saying no to the very goals that matter most to you. Many people stay distracted not because they lack the ability to focus, but because they lack the courage to protect their energy from unnecessary commitments. When you learn to say no with grace but firmness, you preserve your strength for the battles that truly matter. Another powerful practice is to manage your physical energy through rest, movement, and nutrition. A tired body creates a distracted mind. When you are running on little sleep, flooded with unhealthy food, or stuck in a sedentary routine, distractions appear more tempting because your mind is seeking easy relief. On the other hand, when you are rested, fueled with good food, and active in your body, you find it easier to remain centered and focused. Great thinkers and achievers throughout history have recognized this balance. The body is the servant of the mind, and when the body is strong, the mind can sustain clarity. But even with a strong body and wise habits, your energy is still vulnerable to the thoughts you allow to dominate your inner world. Negative self, fear, and constant comparison can drain energy faster than any physical effort. To guard your mind, you must train it like a muscle. Replace destructive thoughts with constructive ones. Practice gratitude daily, for it shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. Embrace challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles, and remind yourself that progress, not perfection, is the true measure of growth. A mind trained in resilience becomes a fortress that distractions cannot easily penetrate. There is also the subtle but powerful practice of creating moments of stillness. In stillness, you recharge. In silence, you hear your true priorities. Taking time each day to pause, breathe deeply, and simply be is not a luxury. It is a necessity in a world that constantly demands your attention. These moments of quiet reflection allow you to reset so that your energy is spent deliberately rather than scattered carelessly. Ultimately, guarding your energy and mind is about living with intention. Distractions will always compete for your attention, but you get to choose where your energy flows. When you protect your physical strength, curate your mental inputs, refuse unnecessary commitments, and cultivate a resilient inner dialogue, you create a life where focus is natural and purpose is unstoppable. Your energy is your power. Guard it, and you will find that the distractions of the world lose their grip on you. There is something powerful about beginning your day with structure. When the mind wakes, it is open, unguarded, and easily influenced. The first actions you take in those moments set the rhythm for the hours that follow. This is where daily rituals become more than simple habits. They become anchors that keep you grounded in focus and purpose. Distractions lose their power when you already know how your day will begin and what your priorities will be. Think of daily rituals as intentional acts designed to protect your attention. They are not about rigid schedules or overwhelming routines, but about setting the stage for clarity. For example, consider the difference between a morning that begins with you reaching for your phone, scrolling through notifications, and reacting to the world, versus a morning where you take a few minutes to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and outline your 3 most important goals. The first leaves you scattered before the day even starts. The second places you firmly in control. Stories of great leaders, thinkers, and creators often reveal a consistent truth. They understood the power of rituals. Some used silence in the morning. Others walked daily. Some wrote down their thoughts each evening. These were not random activities. They were chosen practices that strengthened their focus and provided them with clarity. Their rituals acted like a shield against distraction, allowing them to channel their energy into meaningful work. You may ask yourself, what rituals should I create for my life? The answer lies in simplicity and purpose. Choose practices that help you clear mental noise and remind you of what matters most. It might be writing a short reflection in a journal, drinking water mindfully, exercising to wake up your body, or spending a few minutes in prayer or meditation. What matters is not how impressive the ritual appears to others, but how deeply it connects you to your focus. Daily rituals also work as a reset button throughout the day. Distractions will come: emails, calls, unexpected interruptions, but rituals bring you back to center. For instance, having a short midday routine of stepping away from your desk, breathing slowly, and reminding yourself of your main task can prevent hours of wasted drifting. At night, a ritual of writing down tomorrow's priorities before sleep allows your mind to rest, instead of spinning with unfinished thoughts. These small actions, repeated consistently, create a rhythm of order amidst chaos. There is a saying, "We first make our habits, then our habits make us." Daily rituals shape not only what you do, but who you become. By choosing rituals of focus, you slowly become a person who resists distraction naturally. Your mind adapts to the structure you give it, and what once felt difficult, like putting away your phone or resisting another scroll, becomes second nature. This is the true strength of rituals. They transform discipline into identity. Consider how rituals can even transform moments of weakness into strength. On days when motivation feels distant and distractions feel overwhelming, your rituals remain. They carry you through when willpower is low. A ritual of starting your work with 5 minutes of reading an inspiring passage, or writing a clear intention on paper, becomes the spark that reignites your energy. It is not about perfection, but consistency. The quiet persistence of showing up for yourself every single day. When you embrace daily rituals, you discover that focus is not an accident. It is something you design. It is the result of choosing structure over chaos, of giving your mind familiar pathways back to clarity. You will notice that distractions still appear, but they no longer dominate you. You return, again and again, to the rhythm you have built. And over time, these rituals weave themselves into your life so deeply that they no longer feel like effort. They simply become who you are. Technology is one of the greatest gifts of our time. It connects us, educates us, and provides opportunities that previous generations could only dream of. Yet, if we are not careful, it can also quietly become our master. Phones that buzz every few minutes, social media feeds that never end, and the constant lure of entertainment at our fingertips. These things are not inherently harmful, but without control, they pull us away from the very life we are trying to build. To eliminate distractions and take back control, you must learn to put technology back in its proper place, as a tool that serves you, not a master that commands you. Think of a carpenter. A hammer is an essential tool for building, but imagine if the hammer began to decide when and where it should be used, interrupting the carpenter every few minutes, demanding attention, and pulling him away from the structure he was building. The result would be chaos. This is exactly how most people live today with their phones, computers, and devices. They let the tools control them, instead of being the ones who use the tools with intention. The first step to regaining authority over technology is awareness. Pay attention to how often you reach for your phone, not because you need it, but simply out of habit. Notice how many times an app or notification takes you down a path you never intended to walk. Awareness creates the space for change. Once you are aware, the next step is to set boundaries. Just as you would not leave every door and window of your home open for strangers to walk in freely, you should not leave your digital life completely open to endless interruptions. Turn off non-essential notifications. Organize your devices so that only the most important tools are easily accessible. Instead of letting your phone dictate your day, set specific time to check messages, emails, or social media. By doing this, you shift from being reactive to being intentional. Another powerful practice is creating zones of disconnection. Decide on periods of time when technology will not be allowed to interfere with your focus. It might be the first hour of your morning when you set the tone for your day, or the last hour before bed when your mind deserves rest and peace instead of noise and stimulation. Some people create technology-free spaces in their homes, the dining table, the bedroom, or even entire weekends dedicated to real-world experiences. These boundaries are not restrictions, they are freedoms. By choosing when to disconnect, you gain back your ability to fully connect with what matters most. It's also important to recognize that technology can be a double-edged sword. The very same phone that distracts you with endless scrolling can also be used to track habits, learn new skills, or listen to inspiring messages that fuel your growth. The same internet that tempts you with entertainment can connect you to mentors, resources, and opportunities that move you forward. The difference lies in your intention. Ask yourself, am I using this device to build my future? Or am I using it to escape the present? That question alone can redirect your energy from distraction toward purpose. Remember this: every time you pick up your phone, open a browser, or check your email, you are making a choice. And choices, repeated daily, create habits. Habits, over time, shape your destiny. So the question is not whether technology is good or bad. The real question is, who is in control? If you control the tool, it will serve you and amplify your life. If the tool controls you, it will drain your time, your focus, and your spirit. The wisest way to live is to reclaim authority over the devices in your hands. Use them with purpose. Disconnect with courage. And never forget that your life is too precious to be lived. The mercy of notifications and shallow distractions. Technology is meant to empower you, not enslave you. When you learn to master it, You take a powerful step toward mastering yourself. When you finally strip away the noise, silence the constant interruptions, and learn to stand firm against the flood of distractions, you are left with something extraordinary: purpose. Purpose is not a vague idea or an inspiring phrase. It is the compass that points you toward the life you were meant to live. Without purpose, eliminating distractions feels like a temporary battle. You might win for a day, a week, or even a month. But sooner or later the distractions return, and you fall back into old patterns. Purpose, however, provides the anchor that keeps you steady, even when the world around you tries to pull you in 1,000 directions. Living with purpose means you no longer ask, "How do I stay focused?" Instead, the question becomes, "How can I afford not to stay focused?" Every decision begins to align with something bigger. When you know where you are going, it is easier to say no to what doesn't matter. You stop chasing every sparkly distraction and instead move deliberately toward your goals. It is not about rigid control, but about clarity, a knowing that each choice you make carries weight, because it either brings you closer to your purpose or pushes you further away. Think about someone climbing a mountain. Along the path there are countless opportunities to stop, rest, or even turn back. The climb is exhausting, and the distractions are tempting. A softer path to the side, a beautiful view that makes you want to stay still, or the voice of doubt saying, "Maybe this is far enough." But the climber with a clear vision of the summit does not stop for long. They might pause, but they do not quit, because they understand why they started. Their purpose is higher than comfort, louder than distractions, and stronger than temptation. Purpose also fuels endurance. Distractions drain us because they scatter our energy into fragments. Purpose consolidates that energy. It tells you where to invest your time, your effort, and your attention. You wake up not asking, "What should I do today?" but declaring, "This is what must be done." That shift transforms procrastination into momentum. Even small actions take on significance when tied to a larger mission. There will be days when distractions feel overwhelming, when your phone seems irresistible, when fatigue makes you want to scroll endlessly, or when fear convinces you to delay what matters. But in those moments, purpose whispers louder than the noise. It reminds you that the discomfort of discipline is temporary, but the reward of staying true to your path is lasting. Living with purpose does not make the distractions vanish, but it gives you the strength to rise above them. Purpose is not only personal, it is powerful in how it impacts others. A life lived with clarity inspires people around you. When others see your focus, your discipline, and your refusal to be derailed, it reminds them that they, too, can reclaim control of their lives. Just as distractions are contagious, so is purpose. By choosing focus, you light the way for others who are lost in the fog of endless noise. Each of us has only so much time. The hours you spend cannot be reclaimed, and every day lost to distraction is a day taken from the future you deserve. Living with purpose ensures that your time is not wasted, but invested. It transforms ordinary days into steps of progress and turns challenges into opportunities for growth. In the end, the greatest power you can hold is not control over your environment, your technology, or even your schedule. It is control over yourself, the clarity to know your purpose, and the discipline to align every action with it. When you live with that kind of focus, distractions lose their grip. You are no longer tossed around by every impulse. You are steady, anchored, and unshakable. That is the true reward of eliminating distractions. Not just empty silence, but a life filled with meaning, direction, and purpose. Distractions will always exist. They are part of the world we live in, woven into technology, conversations, responsibilities, and even our own thoughts. But the difference between a life controlled by them and a life of clarity is choice. The choice to rise above noise, to protect your focus, and to value your time as the most precious resource you own. When you eliminate distractions, you are not just freeing yourself from interruptions. You are reclaiming your power. You are saying to yourself and to the world, my time matters. My dreams matter. My life matters. And that declaration changes everything. Every action you take becomes more intentional. Every day becomes an opportunity to build, to grow, and to live aligned with your true purpose. Remember this. Greatness is not the result of doing everything, but of doing the right things with full attention. The people who achieve remarkable lives are not the ones who never face distractions. They are the ones who refuse to let distractions define their lives. They choose focus over comfort, vision over convenience, and persistence over temporary pleasure. You have that same power within you. Each moment offers a chance to decide, to either give your attention away or to use it to create something meaningful. Protect your focus like you would protect a treasure, because that is exactly what it is. Your focus is the key to your best self, your greatest work, and your deepest fulfillment. As you move forward, carry this truth with you. Distractions may knock on your door, but they do not have the right to enter unless you let them. You are the guardian of your mind, the master of your energy, and the author of your story. Eliminate the noise, live with purpose, and watch as your life transforms into something extraordinary. This is how you take back control, and this is how you create a life that is not only free from distractions, but full of clarity, power, and meaning.